Welcome back. Happy Thanksgiving to you and your family wherever you might be from. Today I want to talk about an article a dear old friend sent me. I'm going to have a link below to the article and also the book which is mentioned. The article is The #1 Life Regret of Dying Patients. I see it all the time, says psychology expert. What to do before it's too late. Talking with Bonnie Ware, and she has written the very good book, The Top 5 Regrets of the Dying. In their last days, many of her patients shared with her their regrets. The most common answer, according to Ware, was, "I wish I had the courage to live a life true to myself, not the life others expected of me." The article goes on to share, fully embracing the fact that we are not going to live forever brings our values into sharp focus. When something goes wrong, you are likely not to be thinking about the high-achieving image you have carefully constructed to present to your colleagues. Once we recognize that time is the most precious of all commodities, there will no longer be a disconnect between the choices you want to make and the choices you actually make. This facing of death, looking at your whole life as one, not being clouded by a million issues which in the end will be irrelevant. That facing of death brings so much clarity. I want to talk about it a little bit today so that we can taste a little bit of that joy and supreme clarity that comes from looking at our life as a whole. So let's get into it. Bonnie goes on to say, we don't need to wait and then look back and wish you had done things differently. You can start with a clean slate today. Simply ask yourself what you regret at this exact moment. If you wish you were more present for your 2-year-old daughter, you are likely going to have the same regret 4 decades from now. If you regret opting for the comfort and familiarity of your current job rather than reaching for the stars, you will likely have a similar regret down the road. Big difference between now and then is that you have the ability to do something about it today. Washing out your regrets, going back and reconciling as you can with your brother, right? And maybe you can't do it physically. Maybe it won't work out. Maybe talking to the person is just not going to work at all. But you can do it. You're a yogi, right? You can do it internally. What is that? That is Ho'oponopono, isn't it? What is that? That is Kriya Yoga, isn't it? You are washing yourself out. You are reaching this final clarity, which only usually comes at the end of your life after a mountain of experience and tragedy and wisdom piled on top of you. Then you finally see it. And we are encountering it right now. And this is beautiful. Here's another simple exercise that I love. When you say goodbye to someone, say it as if you might not ever see them again. Say goodbye in a way that you demonstrate the gratitude you have for the time you have spent together. Start with one person today. Tomorrow, 2. Work your way until it becomes part of your everyday routine. So I just love that because now we're engaging the heart. We're engaging this gorgeous clarity that comes from looking at your story as one whole. You came into this world from somewhere else and you're going to leave it going somewhere else. This is not our home. And that is the wisdom of looking at your life as if it might, what if it's a dream? Oh my God, what if this is just a dream? I'm going to wake up from this. So this is not exactly my home, That kind of clarity, not many people have it on this planet because we are designed to engage and get wrapped up in the world around us. That's how you survive, and your brain is set up for that. But you have higher functions which allow you to contemplate this kind of idea, which brings clarity. It brings clarity to your heart and your mind. And that cleaning out regrets as best we possibly can. Maybe we just do ho'oponopono. Maybe we just reconcile with one person. Maybe we just do Om Japa in all of the 6 chakras. And we find we get cleaner and cleaner and cleaner, and that clarity brings a gratitude and a joy to life. This used to be called memento mori, and they would wear a ring with a skull on it. One of my favorite Zen priests would walk around Japan with a staff and a skull. And it looked very intimidating, but he was the most jolly person ever because he had faced it. He had looked it in the eye, he had cleaned himself out, and he knew, I am not from this world. When you do that, everything becomes a little more beautiful. You have more gratitude for the tiny little things. Your daughter might come up and hug you, and instead of running through your whole day and, oh my God, everything I have to do, I don't have time for this. No, all that is not important, because one day I won't be here. And so this love, this connection right now, this is what is actually important. And you embrace that moment, and now you're actually here. You're not wrapped up in a riddle inside your left brain, are you? Steve Jobs famously said that he went through this every day of his life. He would imagine, this is my last day. What do I really want to accomplish? It was Socrates who said the idea of death, your own end, that is the beginning of philosophy, because you have to face that the thing which you think is so real is going to finish. Therefore, it's not that real, is it? Yogananda, in one of his talks, he put it beautifully. He said, imagine every 100 years, approximately, everybody here is going to empty out. The world empties out every 100 years. Can you imagine? Now, we don't notice it because there's this cycle of birth and birth and birth and birth. But what if all that stopped and you just witnessed the entire world empty out in 100 years? This is not our home, is it? It's a crazy thought. And yet it brings this true wisdom, doesn't it? So in this article, Bonnie Ware points out that this kind of a thought process of facing our whole life, facing our own death, brings our own values into sharp focus, because we're getting out of the cloud of wrapping ourselves continuously in a story, aren't we? We're seeing the story as one, and we're stepping out of the story, and it gives us a kind of clarity. It brings our values, what is actually important to us, into very sharp focus. And so we work on ourselves, and we clean our regrets, we clean our chakras, we do the ho'oponopono perhaps. We do some kind of process to clean ourselves out. And then we can actually meet death. The Egyptians have this beautiful story that the end of life, we will go to the afterworld and they will weigh our heart against a feather. Can you imagine? If there's any regret, right? If there's any darkness, if there's any clouding that you have allowed to accumulate in your heart, well, your heart's going to be very heavy, isn't it? But if you continuously did a therapy like Kriya Yoga, like Om Japa in the chakras, like entering into the low idle state of meditation, like doing the cute baby meditation day after day and Hakala and entering into expansion, and you did all these things and you cleaned out your heart, then they will weigh your heart. And the feather will be more heavy than your heart, because your heart is just that light. You've had a roll up of consciousness into your heart. I was in school and we had a presenter, and it was an old man, and he told the story of almost dying. And he said, I should have died. In fact, I did. They resuscitated me. And so I looked at that death and I said, this is where I should have died, and yet I'm still here. He said, therefore, I realized every day going forward is a gift. And he says, I treat it that way. Every day going forward for me is a gift. And I thought, wow, that is amazing and beautiful. At that time, I had a VW Bug, and it was lime green. Just a small metal box with an engine in the front running down the highway. And I came to an intersection, and I pulled out, and a humongous Bronco car slammed into my VW Bug. To this day, I don't remember anything about it except waking up in the hospital. And they told me, very circumspectly, I don't think they wanted to tell me much, but they cut me out of the car and they lay me down, and I was dead. I must have been dead. They didn't tell me that, but they had to resuscitate me. And I thought, as I lay in the hospital bed slowly recuperating, oh my God, I've become that old man, and I should have died. And this is my second life. Now, today, this might be my third, fourth, or fifth life that I'm sharing with you. And like the old man said to me, every day is a gift. And my life with my students and teaching this Kriya path and talking about these philosophical points, it's a gift, and I love it. And I am thankful for each and every one of you. So I hope you love this. If you did, be sure to hit that bell down below so I can see